stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Thank you, Mrs. Annie Chilcote and the AMS choral students. We appreciate Mrs. Chilcote stepping in at the last minute to help us out. Also, a very big thank you to Gravel Road for coming to share their talents with us. These young people represent Auburn, Floyd, and Rafford schools. It is my honor and privilege to welcome you to today's dedication and ribbon cutting ceremony. We've come back home, and we welcome you to our home. As many of you know, this site was home to Auburn High School Middle School for many years. Once the new Auburn Elementary School building was built, then their building was made ready for the middle school students. In 1999, Auburn Middle School opened with partial separation from Auburn High School. The building lacked the space to teach complete secondary curriculum. Thus, the high-end middle school continued their partnership. Students continued to depend on the high school for classes and athletics. The PTO and community members began speaking out regarding the needs of the Auburn area. A feasibility study was done in early 2007, concluded there was enough land on the current campus to accommodate a new Auburn school. Suddenly, there was real momentum to move forward with the building project. It was decided to build a new high school and renovate the current high school for the middle school. I remember thinking, is it really going to happen? But don't get too excited, because things always happen. By summer of 2008, the journey began. School visits, hiring architects, stakeholder meetings, project meetings, building committee meetings. We were well on our way in the process. And then it snowed. Well, AMS optimism wavered, but we were assured that it would happen. The building project went from 2 buildings to 3 buildings. As we watched the building of the other 2 schools in our county, we wondered, would there really be enough money to renovate old AHS for us? You see, we could have fit into the high school just fine, but it was a high school. We needed a school to fit the middle school philosophy and to be a right fit for middle school students. As the Auburn High School project finished up, the new Auburn High School project, the new Auburn Middle School project revved up. It was a tight schedule. The high school moved out in the summer of 2013, and we would move in to the new renovated building on January 2015. Many ask, do you think they will make it? I always answer, that's what they say. We'll see. This past year, we selected colors, patterns, fabrics, furniture, shop equipment, band equipment, art equipment, technology, cabinets, fixtures, appliances. Oh my! And in the end, it all came together. And we are now back home to 4163 Riner Road. I have so many people to thank that it would be impossible to name them all. But there are a few people with us here today who had a special role in making the opening of our new school a reality. On behalf of the Auburn Middle School faculty and staff, students, and Riner community, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to the Montgomery County School Board, the Board of Supervisors, and to our superintendent for their commitment to education and support of our new school. We know that the decision to move forward with this construction project was not without obstacles, but we applaud you for ultimately all coming together to make the right decision. The impact this new school will have on our children and their future is immeasurable. Your vision and leadership has secured ongoing excellence in education for future generations. Thank you to the member of our building committee. Each member brought a unique perspective and a different expertise and wisdom to the process. Thank you, Jennifer Weaver, the Director of Secondary Education, and Dr. Lois Graham, the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, for all the help and support during this process. Thank you to the now retired Director of Secondary Education, Mr. Nelson Simpkins. His mentoring and guidance was invaluable as we began the process of planning for our new school. Thank you to my husband and family for their support, love, and encouragement during this very busy time in which I was more focused on work than family. Thank you, Dan Baronato, Montgomery County Public Schools Director of Facilities, for his expertise, wisdom, and guidance. Dr. John Staten, MCPS Assistant Superintendent, for the financial magic he makes. Angie Bland, MCPS Supervisor of Purchasing, for negotiation for all of the vendors. All the men in the Facilities and Materials Management Department for moving hundreds, if not thousands, of boxes, books, equipment, etc. from across the street and from Auburn High School. Thank you to Harvey Goodwin, Claude Miles, Kurt Wardrick, Lynn Yates, Mickey Williams, and all the men and women in the technology department. We appreciate the hard work that has gone into all areas of technology for our 21st century school. To the Auburn Middle School custodial staff for all that you have done. To Jessica Fox from Inspire Business Interiors for working with me and for staying on top of every detail related to our furniture. To Ray Landon of Diversified Educational Systems, who was responsible for all the built-in casework and specialty items in the building. And I would like to thank the Auburn parents and community members who have spoken out over the years to make sure that Auburn's needs were made known and made a priority. We are all grateful for their collective vision, commitment, and persistence that have helped to make this day a reality. Lastly, but not least, if the Auburn Middle School staff would please stand. I want to extend my thanks to all my staff for their vision, persistence, prayers, words of encouragement, wisdom, creativity, optimism, hard work, and energy that made this all possible. And for doing the seemingly impossible, packing up boxes and moving out of the old school while teaching and moving into the new school in 2 days in order to begin second semester on time. Thank you. We will now have comments from some of our honored guests and another song by the Auburn School Choral students, led by Miss Chilcote.
Hello, my name is Grace Hall and I'm an 8th grader here at Auburn Middle School. On behalf of the entire student body, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today to be a part of our dedication ceremony. Riner is a community based on pride and hard work, and when we come together, anything can happen. A great example is the building we are all gathered in today. None of this could have been possible without all of you. I can't express enough how great it is to have our own gym and auditorium and to no longer have to be bused to the high school. We now have on-site facilities for our athletes to change and practice. Most importantly though, we have new technologies in every classroom so that all students have access to state-of-the-art educational resources. We walk into the school not only with pride, honor, and remembrance for what the school was in the past, but we walk into our future, for we know the opportunities we have to make something out of ourselves once we depart from this building to high school and when we graduate from high school. We know we have these opportunities because of the work that every single person contributed to this school and our great community of Riner. Thank you. Now I would like to share a poem from everyone here at AMS. Looking back in our history, a few years ago, our school board made the decision to update the schools in the Riner area. We thank them for having this vision. The architects have spent lots of time on the plans, integrating the old and the new. One lady in particular has spent lots of time. Ms. Woodsetzer, this poem is for you. We know you have spent many hours in meetings. On occasion, your mind had to roam. We bet Mr. Setzer must have wondered some nights if his wife would ever come home. You made many decisions for the good of our school, the color schemes, the carpet, the tile. And now look at our new digs, our palace, our school. Now we hope you can rest for a while. Rest up, Miss Woodsetzer, from all of the meetings. You're finished with the wheeling and dealing. And we can all rest easier now with the knowledge that every wall goes up to the ceiling. We thank you, Ms. Woodsetzer, for all the hours and hours and hours and hours. The Riner community honors you, Ms. Woodsetzer. Please accept this small gift of flowers. We love you and we thank you. Please join me in honoring Ms. Woodsetzer.
This is why I love my job.
Good afternoon. Please pardon my rather unconventional conveyance. But you know, it is a day for first. And I've never gone onto a stage on a scooter before. So if you want to know the real story, ask me at the reception, but you should see the other guy. I join Ms. Woodsetzer today in welcoming each of you to this very, very special occasion. As you know, AMS is one of 3 projects that began discussion very shortly after I arrived in Montgomery County in the winter of 2010. We've come a long way. There were days that we may have been skeptical that it could be done, but you are the school that Montgomery County built. Doing so required much give and take across the entire county. Today we celebrate not only the completion of AMS construction project, but the future use of this wonderful facility by our students, our staff, our parents, and the community for generations to come. Although you are the third project to come to fruition, the joy is not diminished by being third. When I came into the building today, I sensed several things. A spirit of celebration. Needless to say, Gravel Road did a great job setting that tone. A sharing of accomplishments and high expectations that spans the past, the present, and the future of the school and the community. And lastly, a focus on students and the Auburn Riner community. As you know, the students and staff have been using this building really for just a few short days since January 7th. As the furniture and the boxes and the personal belongings traveled the short distance from old to new AMS, there were smiles, there were gasps of delight, and wide-eyed disbelief as everyone responded to a future in a new learning environment. It takes many to bring a project like this to fruition, and I'd like to recognize just a few of those people. Ms. Woodsetzer has already mentioned many of them, but I'd like to ask, first of all, the Montgomery County Public Schools School Board, present and past, members who are present, if you would please stand. Thank you so much. Secondly, the Montgomery County Board of Supervisors, current and past, if you would please stand. Mr. Craig Meadows, our county manager. The Montgomery County Public Schools Support Services, many of whom are seated in the seats to my left, if you would stand. John, Katie, Rick. RRMM Architects, I see Ben Motley, there may be others, but if anyone from RRMM would please stand and let us recognize you. It's a beautiful school. Branch Construction, Kathy Underwood. I saw Kathy. If there are others from Branch along with Kathy, if you'd please stand and let us recognize you, please. And Skanska, our construction management company, Jason Pack. Also, Curtis Ellswick worked with us quite a bit. Any who are present, please stand. You know, if you accomplish something like this, there have to be a few rough spots along the way. And to the group seated to my left and in front of me, you know, we survived the rough spots. And the product is just amazing and certainly is worth the investment that each of us have made in making it happen. It took a great team to accomplish this mission, and those I have just mentioned were leaders on the team. I want to thank you again for being here today to help us celebrate the grand opening of an AMS with walls to the ceiling, with a real gymnasium and a wonderful auditorium. And most of all, hold the thought about the many students, staff, administrators, and community members that this school will serve for generations to come. I thank you all for the privilege of being just a very, very small part of what is happening here today. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me here today. I know your program says that my name is James E. Lyons III, but my name is Joey. And there's actually a part that got left off of that, probably purposely. There's not an R-E-V in front of my name. I'm a pastor, and I warned a couple of the board members beforehand that as a pastor speaking on Sunday, having the mic in front of me, this could go on for a while. Or I might ask to pass the collection plate, but I'll try to refrain from all those things today. You know, I'm a graduate of this school. And the last time I remember standing here on this stage, I think I was playing the part of George H.W. Bush as we were conducting our mock election for the year that I graduated, which, if you do the math, was a long time ago. Or it may have been when I was here singing it as a part of the choir. But as I look across this room, seeing so many faces of friends that I went to school with, as I see some of the educators that really influenced me, I'm humbled to be standing here. I really am. And I want to also just extend my sincerest thanks to so many people. And I'll start with the school board, especially those of you who were here when we were making the decision before my time, making the decision to go through with this project. Thank you. It's been a really good experience, and I'm so happy that we have a new school for the Riner community. And kudos to you guys. To the Board of Supervisors, thank you so much for making provision for it and doing all of those things that are necessary for capital expenses and all those things that you do for our schools and for our county. We thank you so much for all that you do. I want to thank the design team, the construction team, the managing team. You guys have done a phenomenal job. I've been out here 2 or 3 times in the midst of the construction process, and every time I walk in, I see something new that amazes me. And I want to thank you. I want to thank all of the community members who have had input into this project. For those of you who a lot of us as taxpayers opened up our purse strings a little bit so that we could get this school built. And so thank you to you as well. Thank you to all the staff at the school board office for all of your hard work in this project. Thank you to Guyleen. You've done a phenomenal job with helping and put all this together. Keeping one school going while trying to open another school is a pretty amazing feat. You've done an amazing job. And to all of the staff at Auburn Middle School, thank you for all of your hard work and tireless hours and all of those things. I want to conclude my time by thanking, and I'm going to try not to get emotional, which is not going to happen. I'm going to get emotional. There's somebody I really want to thank who served as a representative of when I was in high school and all of the educators and all of the different things that happened when I went to the school. I want to ask Mr. Miller if he'll stand up. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Miller served as the principal here when this was, in fact, a high school and a middle school together when I was a student here. And I want everyone, especially students, middle school students who are here, and even high school students who are here with us as well, love the people who teach you. Your principal, your teachers, every single one of them has a unique position and place in your life to speak into your life. And you need to take it seriously. You need to treasure them. And it's an honor and a privilege for me to be able to recognize someone who had such a profound impact on my life growing up. And so, Mr. Miller, I thank you for all that you taught me, for putting up with me, even when those times I got in trouble. I did spend some time in the principal's office, I will admit. But you get to grow up, and you get to stand on stage, and you get to do things that you don't really deserve to do. And I am humbled to be in the position that I am today. serving as the chairman of the school board for Montgomery County Public Schools. So thank you, and I appreciate all of you who came out today. And on behalf of Mrs. Jamie Bond and myself as a student, go Eagles.
You know, I was sitting there thinking when Brenda came up to the mic, and I think she can attest that the handicap facilities, aid facilities are built to standards. Good afternoon. I'm Bill Brown, Chair of the Montgomery County Board of Supervisors. I'm pleased to welcome you this afternoon on behalf of the Board of Supervisors. Before I begin, I would like to recognize my colleagues on the board who are here today. And Ms. Annette Perkins, who represents District A. My Vice Chair, Mary Biggs, who represent District F, right? I'm getting them. Mr. Chris Tuck, who represents District B. And Mr. Todd King, who represents this district here, District D. And I know our county administrator has already been recognized, but I'm going to recognize him again because when I introduce him or Brenda, those are the only two people that I know that have 7 bosses. Brenda has 7 bosses, Craig has 7 bosses. And you never know, it's just like a snake with 7 heads. You don't know which ones are going to be venomous, you know, at different days of the week and things like this, you know. Those 7 people, their personalities and attitudes change, you know. And so I guess Craig and Brenda, when they come to work, they have to come to work with smiley faces trying to figure out who's venomous and who's not. This is a very special day for the Riner community and all of Montgomery County. You know, just like Brenda talked about, I think it was February 10th, I believe. I don't know, we were at a retirement of a fire chief celebration, Chief Jim Eppin in Christiansburg, when we got word that the gymnasium had fell down in Blacksburg. And I'm sitting there thinking, boy, I hope Brenda don't leave. You know, once of course got you having to tackle that. We went through various meetings. When you look at a capacity crowd in the board chambers with people advocating to build new schools and several people advocating to repair the old high school in Blacksburg. So those meetings got kind of contentious. We've seen where parents from Riner and parents from Blacksburg says, well, you know, it was just that and that. Says, we in the Riner area has been waiting for a new school for a long time, and we don't want Blacksburg to get in front of us, and so forth. Well, eventually they got together, and both sets of citizens approached the board, why don't you build 2 new? And when you start looking at the dollars and cents and things like that, you know, it was a contentious process, but we made it. It's a day that should make us all proud, and I'm especially delighted to be here as a board representative as we dedicate the last of 3 major school building projects over the past 4 years. The beautiful reunification of this community's landmark that dates back to 1938. 1938? 77 years ago. There's a few people out there that I see that, yeah, I was just a mere kid when it was done. But it was way before my time. It's just the latest and the most recent investment in education, which began with the construction of the new Auburn and Blacksburg high schools. When you take a look around you, I'm sure you all will agree that students at both the new Auburn schools have first-class educational institutions that will prepare many generations for the challenges of the future. Auburn Middle School will also be a place where young people learn the skills necessary to be successful in high school, college, and their careers. The values embodied by this community will also prepare our youth for success in life. I'd like to commend the many community members who devoted countless hours to making the new Auburn schools become a reality. I would also like to recognize the school board, as well as Ms. Blackburn, the school superintendent, and again, our county administrator, for their leadership and hard work. Thank you for this opportunity to speak and be a part of this dedication program. Go AMS. Go AMS. When we're people say go Hokies, we're going to say go AMS.
It is now time for us to get ready for our ribbon cutting ceremony. One of the things that I wanted to make sure is that we had students from the elementary school to come and help us with this, because they are our future. So if Kara Couch and Alex Butler would come up and hold the ribbon. We would like to invite our elected officials, building committee members, and we have one student representing each grade level to the front of the stage to assist with the ribbon cutting ceremony. The ribbon cutting ceremony symbolizes the opening of our new building to you, the community. We would not have been able to build this beautiful new facility without your support. Okay, on the count of 3, we will snip. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. You may take your seats.